Hello and welcome to Charter Local Edition Northwest. I'm Dana Cowley and today we're in Grand Ronde, Oregon and we're covering the Oregon Coast Economic Summit. My guest today is Tim Sapp. He manages the Oregon Coast Military Museum. Tim, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you. It's a privilege.
We appreciate it. Tell us a little bit about how the Military Museum came into being.
Oh, wow. Well, it was just, as usual, some guys getting together and visiting, and we got to talking about the military and how there wasn't a museum in the area. And so the idea was stirred up, and we just decided to move forward and got a bunch of us together and started a board and began plotting the museum 7 years ago. And today, this July 4th was our grand opening.
And you're getting some decent tourism in Florence for this museum.
We are, yeah. It rolls over to my cell phone right now because we were just getting started, and I get calls from all over about people that are coming up and down the coast visiting, and they want to come in and see the museum, see what's going on. And tour groups from Eugene and the surrounding areas call me and are planning some tours over, and it's really a lot of fun. Coordinating this, and then all the veterans, the cool stories you hear, and all the people that come and have stories about their grandparents. And like you, we were just talking, you have family members that are involved in the wars and things, so it's really educational.
Yeah, and it's wonderful for the young people. As we had discussed, my dad served in World War II and was drafted right out of high school, and that's something my daughters in high school, I'd love to bring them to your museum to see what it has to offer. They miss a lot of those things. Not that it's not taught in school, but to speak to somebody who served or to see these museums really brings that much more to life for a young person, I think.
I was in the Army in 68 and 69 in Vietnam, so for years I've gone to the schools and spoke and talked about, I was wounded, so I was disabled, and I've gone and talked about some of those things, being disabled and what it meant, and field questions from the children, and we hope to our museum here. We hope to work with the schools directly, and they're planning to have field trips to come over and look at the museum. As we go around the museum, we started in one section with World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, the home front. All these different dioramas and displays that we have are really moving displays. It's quite interesting. Very educational. In front of each one we have a big folder that has pictures and explanations of that the teachers will be able to use when they show the children. So,
well, and when you look at it, the way you have it laid out, and then in talking to my father as a child and moving toward this time, these things are coming closer to us. When my dad was drafted and sent over into the South Pacific around Japan back, almost 100 years ago, that was a long way from Salt Lake City, Utah. People didn't travel and go, and now we have these things happening on the home front, and it's so much easier for us to travel abroad. This is just moving so much closer to us now, when these things used to be so far away.
Right. And in Vietnam, I realized that, I was halfway across the world, didn't know if I was going to make it home or not. And, it was just as moving, traumatic for my family, as it was for me being over there. But you learn a lot by going to the museum. For instance, World War I learned that there was 70 million soldiers involved in that conflict, and 9 million of them lost their lives.
That's a lot. And back in those times, there weren't as many people. I mean, that's a big chunk of the population where we've gotten so large anymore. Tell us more about your personal military experience in Vietnam. And I believe the military honored you?
I went over in 68 and was there for 7 months until I got wounded, and received a few medals, one from the Vietnamese government, and that was quite an honor. But I received it when I was in the hospital bed after I got wounded, and it was, of course, in Vietnamese, and I was on morphine at the time, so I had just put it in with some stuff, and I didn't even know what it was till years later. My daughter interpreted it on the computer, and learned what kind of award it was, and it was equivalent to the Silver Star for the that the Army gives out. But anyway, that was interesting to find out after 40 years, 40 years later. So.
Well, and why did they give it to you?
Well, at the time I was the most decorated soldier in our company, and I think that was that and some other conflicts that we'd been involved in, and so they chose someone in the company to give that to, and it just happened to be me. So,
well, you're very modest, and thank you for your service to our country,
you bet.
And thank you for your service to create this wonderful museum for us to come and bring our children and to learn.
And thank you. We received a gift from you folks, and we sure appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Charter.
Well, I wish you the very best. This is Tim Sapp. He's head of the Oregon Coast Military Museum. I'm Dana Cowley, and you're watching Charter Local Edition Northwest.